China is ready for war.
Every empire has its obsession. For Rome, it was expansion, conquering territories until the weight of its own ambition crushed it. For Britain, it was trade, building an empire where the sun never set until rivals turned its vast networks against it. For America, it has always been dominance. Technological dominance, military dominance, cultural dominance. For more than 7 decades, Washington dictated the rules of the game, but history never pauses. And in 2025, a new player is stepping forward with an obsession of its own. That player is China. China's obsession isn't simply to rise alongside America. It isn't content with peaceful coexistence. No, its mission is far more ambitious, far more unsettling. China's obsession is to replace, to overturn the very idea of American-led order, to show the world, and most importantly, the United States, that the age of American supremacy has ended and that the center of gravity now points east. And what makes this moment so dangerous is that Beijing isn't chasing this goal only with ships, jets, or missiles. It's waging a deeper war through technology, economics, information, and strategy. It's not just building weapons. It's building an alternative world, one where China sits at the head of the table. Today we look at how China's obsession is no longer a dream of the future. It's becoming the reality of our present. To understand China's obsession, you have to step back into history. For centuries, China called itself the Middle Kingdom, the heart of civilization, the center of the world. But the 19th and 20th centuries ripped that pride away. Colonial humiliation, the Opium Wars, the Japanese invasion, each wound cut deeper than the last. And then came the final insult. The United States rising as the global superpower after World War II, while China struggled in poverty and chaos. For Beijing, it was never just about catching up. It was about reclaiming what was already stolen from them. It was about restoring its rightful place. It was about showing America, the symbol of Western dominance, that China is not the underdog anymore. Now fast forward to today. Look at the numbers and you'll see the scale of this obsession. In 2013, China's defense budget stood at around 720 billion yuan. By 2025, it's nearly 1.78 trillion yuan, about $245 billion. A consistent growth of 7.2% every year, even when the global economy slowed, even when other nations cut spending. And what did that money buy? The world's largest navy by ship count, a fleet of hypersonic missiles that can travel at 10 times the speed of sound. Underwater drone swarms patrolling the South China Sea, a rapidly growing nuclear arsenal from about 250 warheads a decade ago to nearly 600 today, and rising fast. This isn't a buildup for defense. It's built-up for dominance. And the US knows it, but here's where it gets fascinating. China isn't just flexing its muscles, it's flexing its mind. This obsession with replacing America isn't only about weapons and ships. It's about psychology, about making the US look weak, humiliated, and outdated on the global stage. In April 2025, China's foreign ministry released a slick, AI-generated video labeling the US a global bully. It went viral across Asia and Africa. The video showed side-by-side comparisons. America's crumbling highways against China's gleaming bullet trains, US protests against China's grand parades, Washington gridlock against Beijing efficiency. And it didn't stop there. On social media, hashtags like "America is fighting a trade war while begging for eggs" exploded, part of a state-backed campaign mocking US shortages and economic troubles. Memes of broken bridges, empty shelves, and angry American protests flooded the internet, carefully curated to frame the US as a fallen giant. Make no mistake, this is warfare, not with bombs, but with perception, because here is the truth. In geopolitics, perception is everything. The US still spends more on defense than China. It still has a global network of allies and bases. But China knows something critical. If the world believes America is declining, then America is already halfway defeated. That's why Beijing hammers this narrative relentlessly, that America is divided, collapsing, unable to lead, and that China, disciplined and united, is the future. From Africa to Latin America, China presents itself not just as an alternative, but as the inevitable replacement. It's not just competing, it's mocking. It's telling the world, look at America. Their time is over. Follow us. And let's not forget, the obsession isn't only military or psychological, it's economic. China already stands neck and neck with the United States as the world's largest economy. By 2025, it has become the biggest trading partner for over 120 countries. That means Beijing does not have to fire a single shot to expand influence. It simply opens its wallet. Through the Belt and Road Initiative, Chinese money builds ports in Africa, highways in Central Asia, and 5G networks across Europe. Every project ties another nation closer to Beijing's orbit and farther from Washington's grip. And here's the kicker. While America often ties aid to conditions, human rights, democracy, reforms, China does not lecture, it delivers. That makes it appealing to governments tired of U.S. preaching. So while Washington quarrels with allies, Beijing buys loyalty, quietly, efficiently, obsessively. But let's not fool ourselves, this obsession will eventually bring China and the U.S. face to face. Look at the Taiwan Strait. Look at the South China Sea. Look at the Pacific Islands where Chinese bases are quietly rising. These aren't random flashpoints. They're stages for the ultimate showdown. The People's Liberation Army isn't training for parades, it's training for America. Its hypersonic missiles are designed to sink U.S. aircraft carriers. Its stealth fighters are built to rival the F-35 and F-22. Its cyber units are meant to blind America's satellites and cripple its command networks. Every weapon, every drill, every new piece of technology points in one direction: confrontation with the United States. Now you might ask, why does China care so much about humiliating America? Isn't beating them economically and militarily enough? Here is the answer. Because humiliation runs deep in China's national story. For over a century, China was humiliated by foreign powers, carved up, invaded, exploited. That memory is burned into the national psyche. And today's leaders are obsessed with reversing it, not just by lifting China, but by cutting America down. It's not victory unless America's humbled. It's not dominance unless Washington bows. That's why every military parade features not just tanks and missiles, but historical films of past humiliations, followed by the triumphs of modern China. It's why every state broadcast celebrates not just China's rise, but America's decline, national destiny. And as China's obsession with America grows, one truth becomes clear. The wars of the future aren't only about weapons, they're about pride, humiliation, and the relentless pursuit of power. Stay tuned, because the obsession driving China today, it's only just beginning. There's more to come, and we will be the ones telling you about it.